Welcome to Through the Table Podcast with Brian, JL, Tom, Rick, and Russ.
You're the WWE guy. Do you know if any of the people that are out because of the COVID problem that they've got running around? Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't really heard much about that. But it seems like every sport, where in the last week, everybody either had it, has it, or has it again. Like
Right.
It's great. It's crazy. Like this, tis the season, I guess. It was to be expected, I guess. But yeah, it seems like. Wasn't somebody saying that they might go back to the Thunderdome?
Tom was saying that, but I was reading something earlier that Vince's will not do that.
Yeah, I think
even if they have to do, say, 50% capacity or something like that, Vince doesn't want to go back.
Yeah, I think that it would take quite a bit to go back to the Thunderdome, I think.
Mm-hmm. But I guess they were talking about trying to just stop everything from spreading so crazily.
Right.
But they have all shows planned out for the next few months. It's like you'd have to postpone them and move them and all that. And I don't think they want to do that.
Yeah, they're not. That the WrestleMania is going off in Dallas next year, no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas will just be like, that's fine. Just cram them all in there.
But they will. Yeah. If they got to watch.
And if they have to do a couple weeks off or something like that, WrestleMania will be like 7 days long or something like that.
Yeah, tape a couple of weeks worth of shows, like 2 weeks before it, so everyone can be healthy. Get them somewhere in the Dallas and just sit in there in quarantine for 10 days or whatever. Who cares about the fans? They don't let them be sick, but the wrestlers, they got to test them all. I guess they test them like every day now.
So, WrestleMania or whatever we want to call, I guess all or nothing, whatever we want to call these big events for all the promotions. It's their like Super Bowl, obviously.
Right.
It must be like even this upcoming Super Bowl. Like, what if Tampa makes it and Tom Brady can't play or something like that? That would just be the most like insane like asterisk like Super Bowl ever, or asterisk WrestleMania like Roman Reigns gets COVID and can't defend the title or something like that.
Right. You never know. Now they keep changing the sports keep changing what their parameters on, or how they're going to test people and how long they get to sit out. And if you have to sit out, if you're vaccinated, like in the last 72 hours, things have changed 5 times for the NBA, I guess.
Yeah.
No one knows what the rules are anymore.
Right.
They could do that where if you're vaccinated, they just may stop testing. Who knows? Unless, certain areas, say California, New York, and some states, I think you have to no matter what. But if you're in Texas, they may go, well, it is what it is.
Right. And that's definitely the case. Like where's the Royal Rumble this year?
It's in St. Louis.
Okay.
At their dome, whatever their dome's called now.
Oh, right.
I think they were doing for Christmas. They were doing buy 2 get 1 free.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they had something like 78% capacity already. I don't know if they just want to see how many they can get in there now.
Yeah, I'd imagine that Royal Rumble over. I mean, obviously WrestleMania is WrestleMania, but like people want to go to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Outside of WrestleMania, it's probably their number 2 most wanted pay-per-view. I know a lot of people like SummerSlam, but people love the Rumble. Or at least the Rumble match, I should say,
Right.
Every year with my intern, we always do a list. We make up our list of where each person's going to come out.
Oh, like a guess kind of thing?
Yep. We get whatever they always have, like say 22 guys, and you write down which spot you think they're going to come out, and then you put mystery opponent, mystery guy in whatever slots, and if you actually guess the mystery guy, you get an extra point. And my wife always comes up with a good prize for it.
I was going to say that's a good thing for a prize, or if like you're going to gamble or anything like that. That's like
that's
a good.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what like a lot of my buddies and stuff. If we're all together, we'll all throw in like $10.
Oh yeah.
Depending on how many people there are.
Yep.
Everybody draws a couple numbers out of a hat, and then it just kind of makes the Rumble a little bit more interesting.
Sure.
Oh, totally. And especially when like hopefully you have multiple numbers, because there's going to be that one where like Santino comes out and you're just like, oh great, like
yeah, right, great. He's number 21.
That's me like every year. It's like there was one whatever one it was when Beth Phoenix was in the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, I'm like, all right, I got the next person out, and it's Beth Phoenix, and I'm like, God damn it, like, it's just like, there goes my money.
Right, or you get Bushwhacker Luke.
Yeah,
right.
Wonderful, thanks.
They need to do. They always do the Royal Rumble pretty awesome. They need to do some sort of like, because there was one year when like. I think it was Santino where, like, of course he wasn't going to win, but like it felt like he possibly could have won.
Yeah.
That was the year in Boston when they did the 40-man Rumble. I was at that one,
and people were going nuts.
Yeah, I mean when he popped up, I was like, no way they're going to have Santino win this.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And like everybody thought it was going to happen, and that's the thing. Like I thought that would have been crazy. You could always the next night on Raw, you could have had Del Rio beat him for the, I mean,
sure. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like that would have been incredible.
They should do it one year where some fluke person wins and you just go wild.
That'd be cool.
If you got plenty of time to get the right person the shot if you want to,
Right. It's kind of like what was it? Was that like Survivor Series where Lana?
Oh, Lana, yeah.
You remember, like everybody got counted out or something, and she was the last one there. Like,
right.
I think that'd be hilarious if it was like, you know what I mean, like Roman Reigns, Big E, and Shanky. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like Roman Reigns and Big E just throw each other over the top, and Shanky's just standing there like an asshole. Like,
they both eliminate each other, and he's just there. Yeah.
Be ridiculous.
That would be
like
funny.
Ricochet or something. It's just like he just what?
Yeah, right. The call up from NXT.
Right. But you need that like Maven moment where he knocked out the Undertaker. Like just those moments are always so just like perfect for the Royal Rumble.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But now that how many Rumbles have happened since Pat Patterson passed away? Because he was usually the one that put that all together.
Yeah, it was always his baby. It's been what, at least one or two now, right?
I would say two. Yeah, I'd say at least two.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's in charge of him anymore. I can't recall.
Right.
For some reason, I want to say I know like. Maybe it was Jamie Noble and the Hurricane. Maybe was like tasked with booking one at some point or something. Maybe.
Could be.
For some reason, both of them stand out.
And they also have the Women's Royal Rumble, the whole thing there too. So,
right, yeah. And maybe they did that one. I know TJ Wilson or Tyson Kidd's always running the women's stuff, and they have was it Molly Holly now is like his assistant?
right.
So I bet they booked the women's one for sure. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know. I mean, can't remember when Pat passed away. It hasn't been too long, a year or two maybe.
Right. But yeah, I mean, maybe they found the person, but like they're never gonna, replace those guys. But like,
right.
There needs to be like a good, like Pat Patterson and just like Dusty. I mean, those were two huge blows.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure, Michael Hayes will be a blow too, but like,
right, yeah, because he does a lot of the big stuff.
right.
Yeah, I mean, he might have a hand in the Rumble for all we know.
I'm sure he does. Pat Patterson died December 2nd, 2020.
Oh, okay. So he's only missed one.
Just over a year.
Wow. I mean, that was longer than that.
I did too. I thought it was at least 2 years.
Yeah. I guess they've only had to do one without him.
Yeah. One that Drew won, right?
Right. Yep.
That was a good one. They're always good.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
There's been a few where the names aren't as exciting, but usually the endings are pretty good.
Right.
It's the filling out the 30 guys is tough sometimes.
Yeah. And then there's always the legendary one, the Flair one, where everybody on Earth was in it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or every year where they tried to, all right, this guy's got to go longer than him because we don't want him being the record holder anymore.
Yeah.
They seem to have stopped that. At least no one has to go 65 or 68 minutes or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know now with Hangman and Bryan Danielson doing the 60-minute Broadway. Vince might want somebody to go like 70 minutes in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And before the Rumble, I think we kind of talked a little bit about it last time, but the day one pay-per-view.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah.
So that's
coming up real quick.
Yeah, that's going to set the tone.
Right. For sure. So you keep adding different matches to that one.
Right.
And I guess SmackDown was taped last week, and then next week's show is the best of show. So I guess all the SmackDown stuff's all done for until that show now.
Oh.
And then what? Raw's live on Monday.
Raw's live on Monday. Yep.
So really, they don't even. So there's no go home show from SmackDown for the pay per view.
It's tomorrow.
Huh.
Yeah, because Fox is worried about their New Year's Eve programming, so they pulled all the guys out to do all that stuff because they're going to be all in the different areas this year.
Right.
And they said, we're just going to do a best of show, and it might even be on FS1 for all I know. I don't know when their New Year's Eve coverage starts. I'm not sure if they've even mentioned it or not.
New Year's Eve. Why would? Yeah.
I don't know if they've said anything about. Oh, guess what? I'm trying to look and see if they have anything listed that far ahead.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody's going to be on a New Year's show, like a ball drop show. Like Big E has been on a bunch of the college football games, doing the announcements and stuff like that.
I could see it.
Probably
like the Miz or something. I could see the Miz being on some kind of a.
Yeah, because I don't know what everybody watches the Seacrest one, I guess, but like NBC has theirs. Carson Daly, and then I forget who Fox has. They just have something.
Oh, actually, that looks like they've canceled it.
Fox did?
Yeah. Yeah, they canceled it because of the new COVID stuff. They're not even airing one now.
Oh wow.
They're having Joe McHale and Ken Young were supposed to be the hosts in New York City.
Oh, they did that last year, and that was actually pretty funny because they totally
called it a
care.
New Year's Eve toast and roast.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because they just like they were live and like they didn't care. They just kind of like just winged it and just like legitimately made fun of each other.
Right. Yeah. So, apparently, about 3 hours ago they canceled it.
Wow.
So I don't know what they're going to do now.
Breaking news here, folks.
Maybe they'll get them back. Hey, we need you, SmackDown. You're doing a show now.
Yeah.
Who knows? I guess we'll find out. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I could in like years upcoming or years past, like I could definitely see, them doing a match like on New Year's Eve. Well, I guess they have the day one show, so I guess
that's the day after, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they did a New Year's Eve show, it'd be they might be in the arena and more of a talking head show than save a lot of wrestling matches anyway.
Right.
That would be my guess. I know there was one funny NXT note, or I guess it was 205 Live. They had taped that Lash Legend versus Sarai match. And I guess they had to heavily edit it because Lash Legend was so bad.
It's garbage.
They went on for like something like 9 minutes, and the match wound up only airing like 3 minutes and 20 seconds of it because they had to cut so much stuff out from botches.
Did Jacket Time do the commentary for it?
They were on NXT doing commentary. I saw the picture on it.
It's terrible.
And I'm sure they had the Asian or Japanese jokes about it.
I only watched. I actually was like, screw it, I'm not watching NXT this week.
Oh no!
I only watched like half of it.
Oh.
But what I did see was just terrible. It's all just terrible. It's so bad, so bad.
Do we think that there was a rating spike because they brought in AJ Styles and Riddle?
No,
not a bit, right?
Nope, none.
And that's why they brought them down there.
Oh yeah.
I just can't believe they're running a program with Grayson Waller and AJ Styles now.
That's strange.
And it's just I really hope they're not going to put Grayson Waller over AJ, because that would just be absolutely ridiculous. And that's the other thing too. That's another reason why like they just started putting him in every other segment.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Like he's literally in every other segment. And every week he's just feuding with somebody else. It's every week it's somebody else.
Weird.
And he's not even that good. He's not, you know what I mean? Like,
are any of them really though?
No. I
saw that suplex that D'Angelo gave Pete Dunne, and he almost dropped him on his head. That was awful. Awful.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, hopefully.
I think they said the ratings were up, like I think 20,000 viewers or something like that, but the demo went down like 20%. And then the average median view age for the viewers was 67 this time, not 62. So they're getting even older now.
67 years old.
I don't know. With these people, I have
NXT.
No clue how.
Sting.
Sting's watching it.
He's too busy throwing MJF on his forehead to be watching anything. But seriously, who's like?
I don't know.
That just tells you who Jacket Time appeals to in the Street Fighter of the Islands.
He hasn't been on in weeks either.
And the guy who's black.
The black guy that smokes weed and teams with the white guy that smokes weed. And now they're with the stoner that smokes weed. That's on the main roster.
With the tattoo of the mushroom.
Yeah.
mean, I do find Riddle entertaining, but I don't know. He's definitely not moving any numbers in NXT.
No. None. Yep.
But for some reason, because he's over with Orton right now, the mentality over there is, he's over now. Let's send him down to NXT and see if he can boost the ratings. You take Orton away, and it's like, all right, it's Riddle.
And Vince thinks he's funny.
Oh, Vince loves him.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. He always gets a kick out of him.
Vince also loves
Pork rinds?
Suspected child groomer Austin Theory.
Yes, he does.
So we know how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do.
I guess they had to keep one. They got rid of Velveteen. They're like, I guess we could keep this. We'll keep the white guy.
Who could pass as Hispanic? In case we have to team him up with the Lotharios.
Yep.
Might have to.
WWE's so bad. I'm just thinking about this. It's like, it's just so bad.
I've had zero desire to watch any of the programming lately.
No. I couldn't even tell you the matches for this pay-per-view next week.
This is January 1st, right?
Yeah.
Day one.
Day one. Or whatever they're called now. Special events.
Well, it's a Saturday
Isn't
show?
It Liv versus... Yeah.
I don't even know what the
Liv
card
versus Becky Lynch, I think.
Oh, that was stupid on Raw, too. Did anyone see that?
No.
Oh, it wasn't on Raw. It was, where was it? Maybe just social media.
Oh, was it? Was it where she was training or something?
Yeah, and Liv appeared out of nowhere, and then
I heard about that.
It was like a body double, and then Becky Lynch appeared out of nowhere, and the whole thing just sucked.
And didn't it look like Raw Underground?
It did, kind of.
Could have been there. Who knows? It was supposed to be Becky's training facility.
Yeah, they found the old Raw Underground facility and said, "Hey, let's use this."
See Becky fall last week?
No.
There was it last week? Yeah, when she in quote unquote injured Liv Morgan. Like put Liv's arm in the step, like in the ring steps, and like kicked it.
And she fell?
And she had this like long ass jacket on or something, and she went to like kick the step again, and she just flat back.
Jesus.
I guess there's only 6 matches signed for the day one.
It's all right. There'll be a lot put on Friday night. You know how that goes.
Roman versus Brock, Seth, Big E, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley, Becky and Liv, Usos, New Day, Edge, Miz, and Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss.
Wait, what is it? Oh, McIntyre versus Madcap Moss?
Yep.
That's a match?
Apparently so. This is off WWE.com. I don't know.
McIntyre's a former champion.
Mm-hmm.
He's going up against Madcap Moss on a pay-per-view.
Yep.
I hate it. I hate it all.
Oh.
That's so bad. Wow, that's bad.
Why did they kill McIntyre's push? He was actually a really popular champion. And they ultimately destroyed any credibility he has, and now he just gives history lessons with his sword.
I feel like COVID screwed him.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely. So I think he was over with the crowd.
Oh yeah.
And then without the crowd, he's not anything really. Yeah. And that really showed in the Thunderdome when, you know what I mean, when there's no crowd reaction. And like Tom said, now he's just talking about William Wallace all the time and whatever the hell it is, and it's just stupid. It's dumb.
Awful. It's weekly Scottish history lessons and playing with his sword.
Did Madcap steal his sword? Is that why he's going after him?
So it makes me wonder, where's Corbin been? Does he have COVID?
Half the roster does.
Yeah, it seems that way.
That's something. Have we talked about that yet?
We talked about it at the beginning. a little bit.
Yeah, we touched upon it a little bit. Yeah.
But you can bring it up now. I was saying after, because they taped SmackDown, they don't have to be there. They start their holiday tour on the 26th with 2 shows, a Raw show and a SmackDown show. You'll know who has it and who doesn't, because I guess they told NXT to be ready to on the fly to be sent in to cover for people who are out.
And then there's been talk that they don't really want to go back to the Thunderdome, but if this continues,
I guess Vince says it's not happening no matter what now. He refuses to go back to it now. He's changed his mind again, and now he's like vehemently against it ever happening again.
And I agree with that, because it was a disaster the first time around. It really was. But I know they were pushing around that idea because, you know, it's scary when the NBA starts canceling games, because that's what happened March 2020. Once the NBA started canceling games and everyone else started canceling games.
Yeah.
And then it just became, okay, now everything's shut down. So, like, you know, maybe it's PTSD. I don't know. But I know that they were kicking around the whole Thunderdome idea, and I'm kind of glad they aren't going to do that. On the flip side, if AEW were to do something like that, they just go right back to Dealey's place or whatever. Yep. Yeah, and they can still have, because it's Florida, they can still have people.
Yep, exactly.
And I mean, even when they didn't really let people in, they were still just with the wrestlers at ringside. Right. It was at least something. It was there was some kind of feedback
sound, right?
You know,
I felt and I said this in the podcast months ago at this point, but I felt that AEW handled COVID way better than the WWE did. Just by the way, just by resources, they were able to have somewhat of a crowd there. They were able to have that live crowd reaction. They had an actual, what looked like an arena. They weren't in a performance center for the first half of it, and then they didn't have stupid TVs around.
But even on the other side of the coin too, Tom, it's like, you know, just the way, you know what I mean? Like anytime, you know, whether like an AEW wrestler had COVID or came in contact with somebody, you know, was close contact, AEW is open and honest about it.
Yes.
Hey, this is what's going on.
Right.
WWE, they're just like, oh, well, he's off TV. You'll never know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that Sasha Banks sketchiness. Like, why she just disappeared off a house show.
Yep.
Never to be heard of for a few weeks, and nobody would give a solid answer as to what was going on. You kind of put 2 and 2 together and figure out that she probably tested positive at one point. But it's that whole thing that Vince has of a hatred of weakness, and he sees, I think he sees if he tests positive as a weakness.
Yep.
But you're right. Yeah. AEW would be very clear about it. Yeah. This guy tested positive. You won't see him for a couple of weeks. Probably weren't going to see him for a couple of weeks anyway, because they have very little showtime and too many people on the roster. But now you know why you won't see him for 2 weeks.
Sure.
Marco Stunt's had COVID for months.
You wouldn't know. You would never know. But he probably would come out and say it, though. Whereas if WWE, someone like when Renee had it and said it, she was getting yelled and screamed at.
Yeah.
So, I mean, AEW would understand it. Vince doesn't want to hear about it.
Which is so weird, because you would think, I don't know. I kind of find it comforting and refreshing to find out that like a big name athlete or a star or something has gotten it. Because it's just like, all right, we're all on the same level playing field here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me, but
no, I hear
Vince is a weird guy when it comes to certain things. So.
Oh, he totally is. Especially words you can't use on the air.
Oh, yeah. Very strange.
Totally.
It's supposed to be a professional wrestling company, but you can't say professional wrestling or just wrestling.
And you can't say the word belt, or was it strap, title, like all sorts of different ones. There's some really weird ones that you won't allow to say, and you're just like, I don't get it.
It's just championship, right? I don't even think they can say.
Yeah.
I don't think they can say title at this point.
No, none of that stuff. It's just championship. Yep.
Just championship.
And listening to Bruce Pritchard's podcast, the same thing. You know, he always said like, "Oh, it's not a belt. Belts hold up your pants." You know, it's just
awful.
Well, he's Mr. Company Man, so he's always going to side with whatever they want him to.
Yeah.
I would love to know like the actual list. Like I know there's been, stuff that gets leaked every now and again, or like show, like a show format, but I would love to know like what if there's an actual like printed word for word list.
There usually is, but like
company memo.
You probably can't use it now, but a few people that have been fired or let go or left have shown it before. Like
really?
for whatever, say like, between say April and June of 2016, these were the banned words or whatever.
Right.
It always changes. Sometimes the word will leave and then sometimes it'll come back. But
I heard sometimes it can change weekly too. Like if you're an announcer, you never know what word's good to use this week and what word isn't, because it's constantly changing.
Right.
I think that was one of Mick Foley's issues when he was doing commentary, why he didn't want to do it anymore. Because he had Vince in his ear constantly screaming at him.
Right.
But the other thing I remember him saying that the list of banned words would constantly change.
And he didn't know what they were.
And if you forgot this list that's constantly changing, you got Vince yelling into your ear. It's like, how do you concentrate on what you're doing?
Yeah. One of my favorite ones, I know it's been on the list for years, is mofos.
Mofos.
That's been on the list for years. I don't know why, but
because it's a porn site.
Maybe.
But that's the other thing too. Who would put that in a promo?
Right.
Listen here, you mofo.
Madcap Mosswood.
Mofo Moss. That was his actual name, but
they had to change it. It's on the banned list.
Freddie Prinze Jr. had to change it.
No word from Jeff lately. Speaking of Hardy,
he was doing some like acoustic sets or something on the in Charlotte, in that area. He had a couple of concerts, I guess, in the last week or so, or the last weekend, I believe. I saw something about it.
Speaking of no words from anybody, what the hell happened to Samoa Joe?
Oh yeah,
right.
He was shooting that animated Marvel movie
for 3 months.
That's the last I heard. When he had the title stripped and he was the King Shark voice for it. I don't know how long it takes to do it, but I know he was working on that.
But he's like a trainer too.
But he could be just, they have nothing for him. Like Mustafa Ali said on Instagram this week, they haven't had anything for him for 6 weeks now after the Mansoor and him had that last match. He's been sitting at home waiting for their callback and they don't have anything planned for him.
And that gimmick that he posted, that I mean, as much as it's been done, I feel like it was
cool.
It would have been cool because like one of the big things about heels, it's like as much as they're, I guess, dastardly and do underhanded stuff, like there's still like a bit of truth into everything they say. You know what I mean? And they just kind of they amplify it a little bit.
Oh, sure.
But I definitely feel like it's, especially with the, just the social climate of today. I feel like that would have been a good gimmick, but at the same time, it's a good gimmick, but it's almost too good. Like, you know what I mean? Like you it's like you're saying, oh, you guys hate me because I look like this, because my name is, Mustafa Ali.
Right.
And it's like, you're not wrong, but at the same time, it's like, you're a bad guy. We think you're like, you know what I mean? You're Muslim or whatever. And it's like, as much as it would be a great gimmick, it's almost like, we can't do that because then our audience is technically this guy because we hate him because he looks like this.
Sure.
So I mean, it sucks because there's just it's like you keep this dude around, and then you don't do anything with him, and he's just wasting away. You know,
Yep.
it sucks.
I mean, look at Elias. It's the same thing with him.
Yep. He hasn't been around in almost a year now, right?
They killed him off because of Boogs had doing the guitar gimmick, and he's still signed, but you haven't seen anything about him in months.
And at one point, he was like the most over guy in WWE.
Yep.
He was selling legit albums.
Yeah, exactly.
He was having one-man guitar shows, like for real.
Yep.
He even had like a network special, right? Did he have
did.
like a
Yeah, he did. Yep. And
So
he's
weird.
gone too.
And that's the thing. It's like it's they put the machine behind him, and then just out of nowhere decide, you know what? Nah, we're done. We're done with you.
The thing with him though too is that if they ever release him, he wouldn't fit in AEW. He's too big.
No.
He's too big of a guy.
Yeah. Right. It's and that's the it was kind of like what we were saying with Braun Strowman going to Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? You're going to have him wrestle Jonathan Gresham. He's 2.5 feet shorter than.
Pretty much.
It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't understand what, I mean, you got all these guys jumping ship. You have all these other guys you're just releasing. And there's still people like, and then you're Kevin Owens and you still resign. It's like, I just don't. I mean, I heard some other podcast, I know we talked about it last week, but there was another podcast I listened to. They said that his deal was close to like 11 million for 3 years.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So
I've heard that a couple of places.
And it's like, if that's the case, okay, yeah, $1 million a year is pretty cool. But I mean, I guess if I'm Kevin Owens, I'm you know what I mean? So 11 million over possibly 3 years, maybe 4.
I know 3 is what he signed supposedly.
Yeah, I heard it was 3, but for 11 million, and it was twice what what most of the AEW contracts are. So he knew what he was going to get with AEW. It was going to be around 5.5, and they ended up giving him twice that at WWE. And he had a statement this week where he was like, this is what my family knows. It's comfortable for them.
Sure.
You just got $11 million. Yeah, it's comfortable for them. All right. Good for you.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I can't, as selfish as it is that he signed, it's like, I'd rather see him in AEW, me personally, but
a year from now, will they want that money on their books?
Right. Who knows?
6 months from now, will they?
Exactly.
But like,
Braun Strowman getting $1 million was too much.
Well, that makes sense.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, if you're trying to save money, adding more money kind of defeats your purpose of what you've been doing.
Which makes me think Elias makes $0.
Yeah, he mustn't make a lot.
If he's still on the books.
Couple 100,000 maybe.
If that. He's making the league minimum.
Yeah, really. He's still making NXT contract money.
Poor guy.
Who knows?